All right, so hello everybody. Welcome back to Today in Slovakia. It's Friday, August 16th, 2019, and I'm up here actually at Bratislava Castle. And you can see right behind me, there's downtown, there's St. Martin's Cathedral. That's the Danube River over here, and the UFO Bridge, also known as New Bridge, or sometimes it's known as Bridge of the Slovak National Uprising. Anyways, the castle's right behind me. Let's go up and have a look here. All right, so it is a bit windy up here. You can see all the clouds also behind the castle. So they are forecasting some rain today. Anyway, so I brought you guys up here just to, well, not only just to show you the castle, but I'm going to do a bit of vlogging, and so I'm going to walk and talk a little bit. And the main theme for today actually is about turning 50. It's about growing old, and yeah, I'm going to get to that in a second. Okay, so there are a lot of tourists up here today, so maybe it wasn't the best day. I thought I would come up and have the whole castle to myself, but it seems a lot of other people have also had the same idea. Anyway, so let's go up a little bit more forward. Okay, so one thing I also have to mention is that this is like like the main dominating feature of the city of Bratislava, and it's a pretty old castle. Nobody actually really knows how old it is. The first time anything was written about it was back in the 10th century, and although this is Castle Hill actually. So I mean, if I go over this way here, you'll see a really amazing view of the Danube and Petržalka. But the Castle Hill has been inhabited for well over 3,000 years, actually. There's been many empires. The Great Moravian Empire was here. The Romans were here. The Celts were here. And so what you see behind me with the castle actually is just like a patchwork of construction projects. And it really didn't take off until like the 11th century. And they used a lot of the footings of the old Roman settlement that was here, and they came up with this. So actually, the tower right over here, okay, I don't know if you can see my finger, that's the oldest tower. Each tower on every corner is different. So there's 4 corners, and in fact, actually, the castle is compared to like an upside down table. There is a courtyard inside. It's not very interesting, and the museum itself is pretty boring as well, though. But the castle itself is really impressive. Okay, so I'm just going to walk around here a bit. So the castle actually went through a real major renovation back in the late 2000s, and so when I first saw this place back, I guess the first time I saw it was in 1992 when I came to Czechoslovakia on a visit, and yeah, it was a really ugly building. Like everything was falling apart. The mortar was destroyed. There was nobody up here. Was barely anything going on. And but in 2004, Slovakia joined the European Union, got a bunch of money for projects like this, to clean up the place. And I think they actually did an amazing job, like restoring this to the former glory. Like it's beautiful. Like at night, it just lights up. You can see it for miles and miles away. Slovak people, unfortunately, they'll beg to differ. Though they'll say that it's one of the ugliest castles they've ever seen. But Slovak people have this way of finding ugliness, even in beauty, when it's staring right at you. So, anyways, let's. I'm going to walk around to a little more quieter place and talk a little more intimately about some things. Hang on a second. Okay, so yeah, I don't want to talk about like totally intimate private things like I mentioned in the last shot, but like I said earlier, I just want to talk about what it's like to turn 50 years old. Back in June I turned 50, and I was in Canada at the time. I didn't have any big party or anything like that. You know, I was with my dad, my younger sister, and her family, and all I really wanted to do was just order hamburgers. And we ordered some Wendy's, and we talked a bit. I watched TV, and I went to bed. I really had planned that actually for a long time. I just wanted the day to come and go, you know, as quickly as possible. But now that I'm 50 years old and 6, 7 weeks, you know, I have to really think about, you know, like it is actually a major feat in becoming 50. You know, it is something I can congratulate myself on. You know, a couple of days ago, I was in Budapest. I had an amazing time at the Foo Fighters concert. And I actually Googled Dave Grohl because I was really interested in how old this guy is, you know, the singer of the Foo Fighters. And he too actually turned 50 earlier this year. He turned 50 in January. He's still rocking. He's still riding, full of energy. He put on one of the most amazing shows that I had ever seen. And, you know, I'm so fortunate that I live here in Central Europe, you know, that I get to see buildings like this, that I can come up to the castle at you know, any time I want, really. Like, I mean, if you see behind me over there in the suburbs of Petržalka, that's where I live, somewhere over there. Maybe I can't really zoom in right now, but you can see the myriad of buildings over there, and that's across from the Danube. So somewhere in that concrete jungle, as they call it, is my home. Yeah, if I just go over this way, you can see the UFO tower. So that's that's an old communist relic, actually. Yeah, so if I think about the past 50 years, about everything that's happened, and you know, like my life has been like pretty much between Canada and Slovakia. And you know, I think about, you know, like getting to 50, like it's not like I did much. It's pretty much everything that I didn't do to get here. Like, you know, like I think about all the times that I failed in my life. Like, you know, I was married 2 times. Both of those marriages were just, you know, just disasters. About 10 years ago, I went completely bankrupt. I lost everything. And, you know, I've struggled a lot, you know, like with addictions, homelessness, you know, just failure at everything. And I think about like how many times like I really wanted to press the self-destruct button in my life, and a couple of times I did actually, and yet I didn't self-destruct, and I'm still here. And you know, I have to admit, like I'm stronger than ever. Actually, you know, I'm in the best health of my life. I travel a lot. Like I travel constantly around Europe. And I have to admit, though, that life has become a real adventure, and I really enjoy waking up every day and, you know, being as productive as possible. Like, you know, the people that I meet, you know, in my travels, even here in Slovakia, whether they're Slovak or you know, foreign born, you know, people teach me a lot about things, you know, about people. You know, there are people out there that are toxic, of course, that are, you know, going to try to tell you how to run your life. They're going to try and, you know, tell you, you know, everything that's wrong with you. And, you know, the thing is, you have to get rid of them. Just delete them. Like, just, you know, I think, you know, like, I got so fed up with being bullied and being told everything what's wrong with me. And I thought, well, why do I subject myself to the company of such people who only just seem to want to, you know, criticize. And I thought, forget it. You know, I just stopped, you know, being friends with them, or, you know, or just be as appropriate as possible and tell them that, you know what, you know, this is just not going to work. My time is precious. You know, we're here on the planet for a very short time, and I'm not going to waste my precious moments, especially after 50 years old. You know, after 50, with people like that. So anyway, so I'm gonna pause it for a moment, and we're gonna have a look at the gardens actually behind the castle. I'll talk a little bit more in a moment. All right, so we're here at the gardens, and actually this part of the castle complex was only opened up a few years ago. I remember coming up here. Again, it was met with a lot of opposition from the Slovak people. They were going on about that there's just too much cement up here, there's just not enough green space, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I don't know who was the main architect. I read something about her. It was a woman, I believe, and she did everything according to like old paintings of what it used to look like up here. And you can still see behind me like all the barracks and everything, or I mean, that's part of the castle fortification. There's a crane there, and they're still working on it to this day. I mean, they've been working on this castle for quite a while though, but I mean, they're doing a really great job. They're really bringing things out, the restoration to its former glory is pretty impressive. So like I said, it's this castle is here in the city. I don't come up here as often as I would like. I think the last time I was up here was maybe about a year ago. It's just like like living in southern Ontario, where we have Niagara Falls only like a couple hours away from my place in Canada. And how often do I go and visit Niagara Falls? Anyway, so I think I'm gonna cut this video a little bit short though. Like I'm just rambling, and the whole idea of this vlog actually is not really to none of it's scripted or anything like that. I think just turning 50 years old and being in the heart of Europe, something tells me like I need to kind of like sort out my thoughts out loud. And sometimes it's best to do it even on camera. I haven't actually watched any of my my vlogs yet, but I'll probably will get around to it at some point. But I have to admit though that turning 50 is great. It's not all that bad at all though. I think about all the people that I've lost in my life, and I've had friends that didn't make it to 50, and not long ago, a friend of mine from work back in Canada, he also hit the self-destruct button, and he didn't come back, and that still bothers me to this day. And all I can say is like there's it's not like that I'm going to preach any kind of secret to life or anything like that, but if you can minimize everything in your life, lighten the load as much as possible, and your life will change immensely. Get rid of toxic people, people who are constantly criticizing you, people who just make you nervous, just their presence just does that. People who seem to always need to know everything that's going on in your life, and why are you doing things one way and why aren't you doing things their way. So my suggestion is get rid of them. I only have like a few friends really. Like I have 5 or 6 friends here in Slovakia. I mean, I know like thousands of people, but I have really just 5 or 6 really, really close friends. I can count on them. I have a great time with them. I can travel and hang out. And that's really all I need. These are people that I feel that I have great respect for, and I just really enjoy their company. And if, dealing with humans is just not working out for you, just remember, this is a planet full of living species. There's gardens here. This is, you've got plants, you've got animals, you've got cats and dogs to play with. I think that's probably my fascination with cats, is that, cats just don't give me any grief whatsoever. I don't have a cat at the moment. I'm not allowed to have one in my apartment, but hopefully, when my financial situation does improve a little bit, and I do get my own place, yeah, these cats are definitely going to be involved. All right, guys, so I'm just going to pan out. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for watching my vlog, and I'll see you next time in today in Slovakia. Have a great day.